After my last video of analyzing narratives across the Bitcoin treasury space, I had a bunch of you guys calling me bearish on Metaplanet. And that could not be farther from the truth, actually. I wanted to pull up this same chart again, which displays Metaplanet in the green versus MSTR. And what this is looking at is the rate at which each of these is mentioned across the Bitcoin ecosystem over time. If I were to map the price of MSTR or Metaplanet over each of these mention rates, you'd see an incredibly tight correlation. As I pull forward here, you can see that right now the amount that Metaplanet is talked about is really low comparatively to the amount that MSTR is being talked about, which really does make sense too if we look at the price charts for each one. First, here's strategy. Looking at the boring time back here when the narrative rate mentioned was extremely low into the summer chop, the big blow off in 2024, and back to where things are right now, which despite coming close to $100 per share, we're now up nearly 80% from the lows and are sitting pretty good. Metaplanet, on the other hand, is much more muted. It does have the same euphoria, arguably at a much higher rate here than MSTR. This blow off was incredible back here for anybody who lived through that. But more recently, it's been very flat and has not seen anywhere near the run up that MicroStrategy has. But Sully, I thought you said you were bullish on Metaplanet. Well, I am. Nothing has fundamentally changed with my thesis around it. I've been interested in it because of the arbitrage that they have in the Japanese markets, and that hasn't changed at all. It's just taken longer for them to ramp up the preferreds comparatively to MSTR and Strive, which are just doing fantastic right now. I'm bullish on all these companies, but nothing's really changed with Metaplanet. In fact, I think one of the takeaways here is actually that if you look historically, when the narrative is much lower, it's fantastic times to buy. My goal with all this is just to present the data as I see it. I'm not trying to give any investment advice here. I just think it's really interesting watching the narratives play out across the Bitcoin treasury space in particular. And there's a huge deviation between MSTR and Metaplanet right now, arguably larger than has ever existed in history since Metaplanet actually has kind of come to market and become more of an interesting strategy.